It's a fine sunny day for two lovebirds to be married. The romance in the air lingers when Digsy's dearest friend Suzette becomes a wife. But this happy day is one of Digsy's worst days, as he is left sulking and drinking by the sidewalk. Digsy's sister, Daphne, kindly checks on him, offering solace by reminding him that Suzette is not the sole woman in the vast world. Yet, Digsy continues to bemoan his missed opportunity to be with Suzette. Undeterred, Daphne encourages him not to miss out on the reception. But Digsy, succumbing to his melancholy, defiantly opts to venture out alone. In the depths of his inebriated state, he leaves a series of heartfelt voicemails for Suzette, shamelessly pouring out his emotions to her, almost cringing, but finally wishing for her to be happy. Digsy mends his broken heart at a bar, then a friendly stranger by the name of Mortimer warmly approaches Digsy, extending a drink as a gesture of camaraderie. Mortimer seems to recognize the reason behind Digsy's brooding face. In their casual conversation, Mortimer candidly shares his romantic woes, recounting a heart-wrenching story of betrayal, as his girlfriend left him for his best friend. Seeking solace, Mortimer finds solace in drowning his sorrows in alcohol, eventually encountering an enigmatic woman who presents him with a cryptic piece of paper. Impulsively, Mortimer passes this mysterious token to Digsy, recognizing a kindred spirit who might find some value in it. With a nod and a friendly departure, Mortimer bids Digsy farewell, leaving him with the enigmatic artifact to unravel its secrets. Curiosity piqued, Digsy eagerly unfolds the note, revealing a key nestled within its folds. The accompanying message illuminates its extraordinary purpose, an otherworldly key capable of unlocking doors to parallel universes, each showing the possibilities no one could imagine. However, a sobering catch dampens his excitement. Once the door is shut, there's no returning to his familiar reality. Despite the weighty decision, Digsy's heart races with a mix of anxiety and excitement, contemplating the uncharted adventures that lie just beyond those threshold-seeking doors. Returning to his lonely bachelor's pad, but bursting fridge, Digsy's mobile device blares with Daphne's persistent calls. Yet, rather than yielding to the beckoning ringtone, he places the call inside the chilled refrigerator so he won't need to answer her. With the break of a new day, Digsy inadvertently discovers the enigmatic key once more, emerging from the depths of his pockets like a gleaming talisman of possibility. Venturing forth to the library, memories of jovial nights spent reveling with Suzette flood his mind, recalling a particular evening when he implored her to unburden her soul. Yet, all he could muster were vague allusions to crafting a tale of love and passion on the written page. Suzette, ever the supportive friend, embraced his newfound literary endeavor without hesitation. However, their intimate conversation abruptly halts as a spirited individual interrupts, demanding Digsy's relocation to make room for an arm wrestling match. Suzette expresses her appreciation to him. Lost in contemplation, Digsy's mind becomes a canvas for weighing the pros and cons of embarking on an interdimensional odyssey, prompting him to diligently transcribe his musings onto paper. Driven by an insatiable thirst for knowledge, he ventures once more to the library's hallowed halls, immersing himself in the pages of tomes that delve into the intricacies of parallel universes. Lost in thought, Digsy hesitates on using the key, but his determination wavers as another person breaks through the entrance door. Seeking solace amidst the comforting ambience of a nearby coffee shop, Digsy continues his quest for understanding, eagerly devouring every piece of information surrounding the tantalizing realm of parallel dimensions. Yet, an unforeseen surge of anxiety engulfs him. He abruptly departs the coffee shop, leaving behind the remnants of his hurried retreat. As Digsy prepares for his cosmic expedition, he musters the courage to open the door and venture forth. However, Daphne's unexpected arrival interrupts his departure, expressing her disappointment at his absence from the reception. Spotting Digsy's pros and cons list, Daphne initially finds his tale unbelievable, but Digsy remains resolute, hoping for the truth in his extraordinary story. He sits with his sister and tells her about the key to the parallel universe, where versions of themselves exist. Daphne remains skeptical. He still further convinces Daphne, as he heavily believes in the power of the key. Still, Daphne remains supportive of her brother, who is still dwelling on his painful heartbreak and regrets. She promises that if it does not work out, she'll set him up with another bouncy girl. With anticipation coursing through his veins, Digsy stands at the threshold, ready to step into the unknown. However, as he opens the door, he is greeted not by the promised portals, but by the barren hallway of his apartment building. Daphne pushes him out of the apartment. Undeterred, Digsy clings to a glimmer of hope, but his attempts to re-enter are thwarted by a locked door. He knocks on the door, asking Daphne to open the door, but he is met not by his sister, but by an unfamiliar elderly woman, who tells him to go away. Using the enigmatic key once more, Digsy is transported to a bustling harbor city, where he strolls through its enchanting streets, immersing himself in its captivating ambience. Eager to explore further, he unlocks the door to another dimension, which leads him straight to Suzette's workplace. However, instead of a joyous reunion, he is met with Suzette's wrath, her anger fueled by his absence during their baby's birthday celebration. Realizing that this parallel universe also holds a committed Suzette, Digsy's discomfort prompts him to make a hasty exit, heeding Suzette's request to leave. Moving on to yet another dimension, Digsy finds himself seated at a charming cafe, in the company of both Suzette and Daphne. However, to his astonishment, he discovers that he is married to a woman named Penelope, with a child by his side. Overwhelmed by the unexpected turn of events, Digsy freezes when Penelope passes their baby to him, unsure of how to react. Sensing his unease, Penelope swiftly reclaims their child, bidding Digsy farewell as she excuses herself for work. As he departs, his strange demeanor catches Penelope's attention, and she follows him to the door, questioning his unusual attire, unfamiliar scent, and the absence of a wedding ring. Her probing inquiry leaves Digsy cornered, facing the accusation of cheating. Overwhelmed, he navigates through one door after another, embarking on a whirlwind journey across countless universes. In one parallel dimension, he encounters a vivacious blue-haired Suzette, who embraces him with uncontainable excitement. Swept away to a bustling diner, Digsy finds himself bombarded by a stream of animated conversations, as the blue-haired Suzette effortlessly delves into the most random topics, like when Digsy filed a restraining order against her mom. Unable to catch up with this hyperactive version of Suzette, Digsy slips away into the bathroom. However, the blue-haired Suzette peeks through the bathroom, shocking him. That's probably the reason behind that restraining order. Not liking this particular Suzette, Digsy swiftly opens another door, bidding goodbye to this Suzette, leaving her behind. In the next series of universe traveling, Digsy finds himself with various confusing versions of Suzette. The next leap transports Digsy to a serene beach, where he encounters Suzette once again, radiating pure joy as she greets him warmly and playfully asks him to apply sunscreen on her. Yet, he discovers that this Suzette is already entangled with her own version of Digsy, leaving him bewildered and uncertain. Seeking respite in yet another dimension, the kaleidoscope of universes also leads him to peculiar encounters. There's even one where he finds himself in the company of a pregnant Suzette, and another woman on a couch, a situation that perplexes him to no end. To his dismay, there's also a universe where he and Suzette never met. Meanwhile, he continues to come across different universes that aren't the right fit for him, such as one where Suzette has a daughter, and another one where Suzette is dating someone else. Continuing his interdimensional odyssey, Digsy finds himself in a universe where he encounters a pregnant woman named Abby. Curiosity prompts him to gently touch her swollen belly, captivated by it. In another universe, Digsy discovers a reality where he and Suzette reside together, their lives intertwined in a shared abode. But this Digsy is a version of him in this universe. At least his version got the ending he wanted in this universe. Digsy gets along well with a party girl Suzette, spending time together and downing drinks. Here, he thrives and forms a deep connection with Suzette, leading to a moment of smooching. However, the call of nature abruptly interrupts their passionate encounter, as Digsy realizes his urgent need to relieve himself. In his intoxicated state, a fateful mishap occurs when Digsy inadvertently opens a door using his key, dawning upon him the gravity of his mistake. Desperate to retrace his steps, Digsy attempts to return, but discovers, to his dismay, that the path back has been irrevocably closed. Continuing his journey through different universes, Digsy takes a brief pause to attend to mundane matters, such as washing his clothes at a laundromat and casually baring his shirtless torso. Subsequently, he finds himself at a coffee shop, where a barista named Gwyneth recognizes him and offers him his usual order. Confused by her familiarity, Digsy plays along and agrees, allowing Gwyneth to add it to his tab. Sensing his peculiar behavior, Gwyneth confronts Digsy, seeking an explanation for his apparent amnesia regarding their connection. As fate would have it, another version of Digsy walks into the coffee shop, prompting Digsy to swiftly seek refuge under the safety of a table. Seizing the opportunity, Gwyneth joins him in his covert hiding spot, eager to understand the peculiar circumstances that brought them together. Introducing herself, Gwyneth kindly listens as Digsy unravels the tale of his interdimensional pursuit of Suzette. However, their conversation is momentarily interrupted by the arrival of a customer, prompting Gwyneth to suggest continuing their discussion after her shift concludes. In a local bar, Digsy and Gwyneth engage in a heartfelt conversation about his quest for Suzette. Gwyneth offers a fresh perspective, highlighting the inherent detachment and lack of familiarity he shares with the Suzettes from alternate universes. As they delve deeper into their conversation, a genuine connection blossoms between them. Hesitantly intrigued by Gwyneth's invitation, Digsy accompanies her to her place, where they share a sampling of her exquisite 18-year-old bourbon. In the cozy confines of Gwyneth's abode, they sit together, engrossed in conversation and laughter, their shared experiences forging a unique bond. The atmosphere grows increasingly intimate as Gwyneth leans in for a tender kiss, setting the stage for a playful game of strip karaoke. Embracing their carefree spirits, they further indulge in a friendly game of Scrabble, constructing a whimsical tower of sweet snacks. Eventually, exhaustion takes hold, and they find themselves drifting into a peaceful slumber on the comforting embrace of the couch. As the morning light filters into the room, Digsy awakens to find Gwyneth resting peacefully atop him, curiosity filling her eyes as she queries him about the events of the previous night. Recounting their shared moments, they find solace in each other's presence. Gwyneth graciously offers to prepare a meal, their connection deepening through shared experiences and meaningful conversations. Later that evening, they embark on a cinematic adventure, immersing themselves in the Matrix within Gwyneth's universe, where the iconic role of Neo is portrayed by Will Smith. Engrossed in the film, they engage in lively discussions about Dixie's life, his dreams, and his aspirations. He talks about meeting Suzette, who was friends with Daphne originally. He recounts the things that made him like Suzette. With each sip of their drinks, their bond strengthens, creating a tapestry of shared moments and heartfelt exchanges. In a serendipitous twist, Dixie finds himself in the pool area of a house, where he is taken aback by the sight of a bewildered and teary-eyed Daphne. The unexpected reunion leaves Daphne speechless, but before Dixie can offer an explanation, she tearfully declares that he was presumed to be deceased. Without uttering another word, Daphne rushes forward to embrace him, inadvertently causing both of them to tumble into the inviting waters of the pool. Submerged in the refreshing pool, Daphne eagerly listens as Dixie recounts the extraordinary tale of his interdimensional adventures. Intrigued, she seeks to comprehend the mechanics of parallel universes. Dixie creatively employs a jar of candies as a visual aid, illustrating how the key enables him to traverse between these alternate realms. As the conversation progresses, Daphne reveals that the Suzette in her universe is not the same kind-hearted individual they once knew, and their friendship never blossomed, because she has an attitude. The following morning, Daphne notices Dixie's intention to depart and passionately implores him to stay, offering to introduce him to her other friends. Despite her fervent pleas, Dixie remains resolute in his decision to continue his journey. In a bittersweet moment, Daphne latches onto him at the doorway, desperately clinging to the remnants of their connection. As Dixie steps into the threshold of the next universe, Daphne musters all her strength for one final embrace. However, as the door accidentally closes behind him, it marks the permanent separation of Daphne from her own universe, forever bound to the world she now inhabits. Sinking onto the floor, Daphne's tears flow uncontrollably, her distress mirrored by Dixie's mounting frustration. Eventually, they depart from their current location, with Daphne taking a refreshing shower and hastily procuring clothing from the apartment's owner. Determined to maintain a positive outlook, Daphne queries Dixie once more about the mechanics of the key. But their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the appearance of Penelope, Daphne's former college roommate, who rushes forward to greet her with a super-friendly, warm kiss. In this universe, Penelope and Daphne are romantically involved. Curious about Suzette's well-being, Penelope turns to Dixie for an update. Nervously stumbling over his words, Dixie manages to convey that Suzette is doing well. As Penelope takes her leave, Daphne suggests they do the same, recognizing that Suzette is already taken in this particular universe. Embracing the unpredictable nature of their interdimensional journey, the siblings continue to leap from one universe to another, reveling in the wondrous sights and enjoying the thrill of exploration, even without actively seeking out Suzette. As they take a brief respite, Daphne poses a question to Dixie, wondering why he has chosen Suzette as his pursuit. Reflecting on a cherished memory, Dixie recounts a playful game of hide-and-seek with Suzette, where their shared moment of hiding behind the bushes and her radiant smile ignited his feelings of love. Settling down to rest, Daphne finds her thoughts consumed by the kiss she shared with Penelope, pondering the softness of her tongue, and whether such tenderness is a common trait among all women. In a silly moment, Dixie tries to tell whether his own tongue is soft. Eagerly stepping through the next door, Daphne joyfully immerses herself in a lively Halloween party, urging Dixie to unwind and embrace the festive atmosphere. Lost in the revelry, Dixie takes a moment to check on Daphne, only to discover that she has been openly divulging the secret of the key to unsuspecting strangers. Concerned, Dixie attempts to downplay the situation and hurriedly escorts Daphne away, but their departure is obstructed by Franklin, who intercepts Dixie and forcibly confiscates the key. In the ensuing commotion, Dixie finds himself pushed aside while others restrain him. In an unexpected turn of events, Franklin attempts to unlock the door using the key, but finds nothing remarkable on his initial try. Undeterred, Franklin tries again, and to the astonishment of everyone there, the door obediently opens, revealing the reality of parallel universes. Amidst the collective disbelief, Dixie seizes the opportunity, swiftly taking hold of the key and pulling Daphne along with him into the next universe. However, Franklin intervenes once more, halting their escape. Determined to forge their own path, Dixie firmly pushes Franklin aside and firmly shuts the door on him, swiftly transitioning to yet another universe. As they make their exit, Kyle queries whether Franklin will reappear in the forthcoming universe. Finding solace at a lively bar, Dixie and Daphne encounter a tattooed, cool Suzette, who impressively serves as the charismatic bartender. Instantly, a bond forms between Daphne and Suzette as they get flirty, their connection sparking with ease. As the conversation unfolds, Suzette turns her attention toward Dixie, admitting that she once harbored feelings for him in the past. Caught off guard, Dixie stumbles over his words, desperately attempting to reciprocate the compliment. Sensing the need for a reunion, Suzette extends a warm invitation for drinks after her shift. Continuing their heartfelt conversation amidst the cozy atmosphere, the trio shares stories and laughter while indulging in more drinks. Over time, the bond between Daphne and Suzette deepens, and their connection grows stronger with each passing moment. Suzette extends a warm invitation to her place, where the merriment continues with another round of drinks. As the night progresses, Dixie's weariness catches up to him, causing him to drift off on the couch, while the two women become sparkly intimate. Startled by Dixie's slumber, Daphne rouses him awake and reveals her heartfelt confession. She kissed Suzette, expressing both remorse and a sense of profound connection. Dixie, feeling a mix of disappointment and confusion, reminds them that they only just met yesterday, emphasizing his initial pursuit of Suzette. Amid their conversation, Suzette gracefully intervenes, offering them a place to stay at her home, an offer that brings a smile to Daphne's face. Meanwhile, Dixie steps outside momentarily, before mustering the courage to return and bid his farewells. Daphne decides to stay, to be with sapphic Suzette. Dixie finally accepts this arrangement, and chooses happiness for his universal sister over himself, as he asks sapphic Suzette to take care of Daphne. With a sense of resolution, Daphne holds Dixie tightly in their embrace, affirming her decision to remain, while he continues his quest. Setting off, Dixie strolls along the picturesque beach, absorbing the serenity of the surroundings. Eventually, he arrives at Suzette's apartment, only to discover that this version of Suzette is battling a terminal illness. Suzette, taken aback by his presence, mentions the unanswered phone calls he left hanging. Dixie, earnestly explaining his true identity, insists that he is not the Dixie she knows. Although initially skeptical, Suzette's curiosity is piqued, leading Dixie to offer his heartfelt apologies. Suzette's interest is further sparked when she requests to see his arm, where she notices the absence of the tattoo belonging to her universe's Dixie. Engaging in a heartfelt conversation, Dixie opens up about his universe's Suzette, and reveals the key that holds the power of interdimensional travel. Filled with a sense of resignation, Dixie bids farewell to Suzette, understanding that she isn't the one he's been searching for. Their conversation lingers in his mind as he continues his interdimensional odyssey, hopping from one universe to another. Yet, his initial excitement wanes, replaced by a tinge of frustration at the lack of favorable outcomes. Fate unexpectedly guides Dixie into a chance encounter with a new iteration of Gwyneth. Intrigued, he surreptitiously follows her back inside, unable to pull his gaze away. Sensing his familiarity, Gwyneth poses the question of whether they know each other. Dixie's response is cryptic yet truthful, mentioning that she bears a striking resemblance to someone he knows. Curiosity piqued, Gwyneth implores him to divulge all the details about this mysterious someone. And so, unable to contain himself any longer, Dixie spills his heart out, recounting his entire journey, and even demonstrating the functionality of the key. Embracing the newfound connection between them, Gwyneth unveils her vulnerability by removing her top, inviting Dixie to share an exquisite 18-year-old bourbon. Reflecting on his past encounter with another Gwyneth, Dixie muses about how some individuals remain true to themselves, regardless of the circumstances. Their shared attraction leads to yet another passionate kiss, and Dixie decides to stay the night. As the sun rises, Dixie explores Gwyneth's photo albums, cherishing the captured memories. Choosing to extend his stay, Dixie immerses himself in Gwyneth's world, even taking the initiative to seek employment. Gwyneth suggests working together at the coffee shop, a prospect that brings them even closer. However, their harmonious dynamic is disrupted when Dixie encounters Kirill, Gwyneth's ex-partner, who ominously warns him. During an intimate conversation later that evening, Gwyneth inquires about Dixie's plans for the key. Contemplating its significance, Dixie expresses his intention to pass it on to someone deserving. Yet, Gwyneth proposes an alternative path, suggesting they harness its potential in the future. Reserving the key in a jar, Dixie finds the coziness of the library, stumbling upon a typewriter that sparks his creative aspirations. In a heartwarming revelation to Gwyneth, Dixie unveils his desire to pen a book chronicling his extraordinary journey. Dixie embraces a new routine, with new love life, and a new goal to look forward to. During his shift at the coffee shop, Dixie finds himself alone at the cashier, when an unexpected encounter unfolds. Suzette enters the shop and, despite her joy at seeing Dixie, struggles to articulate her emotions. Expressing her anticipation of this very moment, Suzette notices the absence of Dixie's birthmark, prompting him to downplay its significance. However, Suzette persists, demanding an explanation and extending an invitation for drinks. Caught in a dilemma as he glances at Kirill, Dixie ultimately agrees to Suzette's proposal, just as Gwyneth returns. As night falls, Suzette and Dixie seize the opportunity to reconnect, with Dixie sharing the details of his extraordinary journey. Meanwhile, in this particular universe, Dixie is already married to another woman. Noticing the striking similarities between herself and Dixie, Suzette ponders whether their shared memories align. Surprisingly, they both reminisce about their cherished hide-and-seek moments, a memory treasured by Dixie in his home universe. Dixie keeps the details of his eventful night to himself, sharing a kiss with Gwyneth, who then excuses herself to retrieve something special for him. At that moment, a knock on the door interrupts their encounter, and Suzette confidently enters the room as Dixie opens the door for her. Suzette begins to explain, revealing that she was once engaged to her Dixie but called it off, only to regret her decision ever since. Drawing closer to Dixie, Suzette poses a thought-provoking question. What if she is the Suzette he has been tirelessly searching for? Before he can respond, Suzette surprises him with a passionate kiss, which unfortunately unfolds in front of a disapproving Gwyneth, who enters the scene. Fueled by anger, Gwyneth denies Dixie the chance to explain and resorts to using the key to open the door, sternly urging both of them to find happiness elsewhere. In the heat of the moment, Gwyneth refers to Suzette as needy, provoking Suzette's anger as she swiftly shuts the door, shutting Gwyneth out of their moment. Dixie is horrified about losing Gwyneth, and Suzette expresses her heartfelt apologies. It is now at this point that his pursuit of love shifts to Gwyneth. Overwhelmed by sadness, Dixie walks away, engulfed in his own sorrow. Seeking clarity, he finds himself wandering through various locations, attempting to make sense of it all. In a moment of contemplation, he impulsively tosses the key into the flowing river, symbolizing his relinquishment of the quest. Continuing his aimless journey, he eventually secures a place of his own, engages in regular exercise, and even acquires a typewriter, signaling his newfound commitment to writing. Gradually, he begins to furnish his humble abode, creating a space that reflects his evolving sense of self. Along the way, he encounters new acquaintances who brighten his days. As the pages of his manuscript accumulate, Dixie experiences a profound sense of accomplishment. While browsing in a bookstore, a friendly cashier inquires whether Dixie has found what he is searching for. Responding with a mix of certainty and ambiguity, Dixie acknowledges that he has found some semblance of it. Curious about a cafe suggestion, Dixie eagerly accepts the cashier's recommendation. En route to the recommended cafe, Dixie happens upon a familiar face, a short-haired Gwyneth, adding an unexpected twist to his journey.